Good evening, you're watching India Votes. I'm Sana Khan. Let's begin with the top stories. Campaigning comes to an end ahead of the fifth and the biggest phase of Lok Sabha polls. Last-minute rush to garner votes. Key candidates file nomination papers. LJP's Ramvilas Paswan, BJP's Varun Gandhi and Aam Aadmi Party's Kumar Vishwas among prominent names. Parties rush to secure votes of minority communities. BJP President and Aam Aadmi Party Chief meet UP clerics, draw criticism from others. And Congress President Sonia Gandhi's televised campaign triggers war of words between the BJP and her party. Campaigning for the fifth phase of Lok Sabha polls came to an end today. In this phase, a total of 121 constituencies spread over 12 states will go to polls. That's on Thursday, 17th of April. Polling for 77 seats of Orissa Assembly will also take place in this particular phase. Here are the details.
Electioneering for yet another crucial phase of Lok Sabha elections 2014 ended on Tuesday. Political activity continued in different parts of the country till 5 p.m. with leaders giving one last attempt to woo voters. While BJP star campaigner Narendra Modi campaigned rigorously in Bihar and Jharkhand, the two states which together comprise of more than 50 Lok Sabha seats, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi continued with his campaign trail in Maharashtra. In a bid to garner some support for the party, just hours before the campaigning ended, BJP President Rajnath Singh also addressed a rally in Udhampur district of Jammu. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and AIADMK Chief J. Jayalalitha stepped up her election campaign in the state, addressing a rally in Arani constituency. Polling for the 39 parliamentary constituencies in Tamil Nadu will be held on 24th of April. The fifth phase leads to the halfway mark of the mammoth 9-phase Lok Sabha elections. With as many as 121 constituencies in 12 states at stake, this is the biggest of the 9 phases of elections. Polling on this day will be held in Jammu and Kashmir, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, West Bengal and Manipur. Voting for 77 seats of the Orissa Assembly and 2 seats of the West Bengal Assembly will also be held in this phase. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And a list of key candidates filed their nomination papers for the Lok Sabha elections today. LJP's President Ramvilas Paswan filed his papers from Hajipur in Bihar. His party has allied with the BJP in the state. And BJP's Varun Gandhi filed his papers from Sultanpur constituency in Uttar Pradesh. Meanwhile, Aam Aadmi Party's candidate from Amethi, Kumar Vishwas, filed his papers today, only days after his opponent, Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, filed his papers. BJP Smriti Irani makes this seat a three-way contest this time.
अगर आने वाले समय में देश को एक मजबूत नेता की आवश्यकता है तो उस नेता का नाम आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी है।
मैं 16 किलोमीटर पैदल चलकर अपना नॉमिनेशन जारी करूंगा और बताऊंगा कि आम आदमी पैदल चलता है।
Now, days after Delhi's Shahi Imam offered support to the Congress party in the Lok Sabha elections, other parties have begun garnering crucial support from minority communities. BJP President Rajnath Singh's meeting with Muslim clerics in UP has drawn flack from others. Aam Aadmi Party Chief Arvind Kejriwal met a cleric in Uttar Pradesh but vowed to end divisive vote bank politics. Here are the details.
Political parties often fall back on minority votes to win elections in India. On April 4th, Delhi's Shahi Imam Ahmed Bukhari offered unconditional support to Congress President Sonia Gandhi, a move that was criticized by other parties. Days later, both BJP and Aam Aadmi Party in UP met a host of Muslim clerics in an effort to secure votes from the community for the upcoming elections. BJP President Rajnath Singh met several Muslim clerics in Lucknow, triggering sharp reactions from oppositions.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक ऐसी राजनीतिक पार्टी है जो इंसान और इंसान के बीच कभी नफरत नहीं पैदा कर सकती है और न नफरत करती है। सभी इंसान को हम समान मानते हैं और ये जब्बार साहब हमारे एक धर्मगुरु हैं, तो स्वाभाविक रूप से एक अपना आदर उनके प्रति सम्मान व्यक्त करने के लिए मैं आया था।
लखनऊ पूरी दुनिया में अपनी गंगा जमनी तहजीब के लिए मशहूर है। वो गंगा जमनी तहजीब कायम बनाए रहनी चाहिए और उनको हमने लखनऊ का रवायती तरह उनको दे करके उनका इस्तकबाल किया।
अगर कोई धर्मगुरु मिलने के लिए सोनिया जी से आए तो कांग्रेस फिरका परस्ती फैलाती है, और राजनाथ सिंह जो उनके सदर हैं वो मिलने के लिए मौलाना कल्बे जवाद के घर पर जाते हैं, मौलाना रशीद फरंगी महली साहब के घर पर जाकर मिलते हैं। तो मेरा ख्याल ये सेकुलरिज्म की बहुत बड़ी अलामत है।
अगर किसी और पार्टी के नेता ने यह कार्य किया होता तो उस पर मुस्लिम तुष्टीकरण का आरोप लगता। ये साधु संतों से मिले, पादरी से मिले और मुस्लिम्स के धर्मगुरु से मिले, इनके 100 गुना माफ है।
On the other hand, Aam Aadmi Party convener and Varanasi candidate Arvind Kejriwal also met with another UP cleric Maulana Ghulam Yasin in the holy town. He vowed to end the divisive vote bank politics in the country, but not before seeking votes for his own party in the elections.
जो आज हमारे देश में राजनीति है धर्म के नाम पे लोगों को बांटने की, उसी राजनीति का हमें सामना करना है, उसी राजनीति को बदलना है। जो आज हमारे देश में सियासती पार्टियों ने धर्म के नाम पे जहर खोलते हैं, उसे खत्म करना है और उसे प्यार और मोहब्बत की राजनीति में बदलना है।
कुछ आश्वासन दिया उन्होंने अपनी पार्टी को वोट देने के लिए।
पार्टी को वोट देने के लिए तो उन्होंने कहा है और इसके लिए वो कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं। अगर वो सारे बनारस के लोगों को अगर मुत्तहिद कर सके तो बहुत अच्छी बात है।
Uttar Pradesh is India's most electoral vital state with 80 parliamentary seats. It has 18% Muslims. In capital Lucknow, Muslims are a fourth of the population. The city has 1.8 lakh Shia Muslims. BJP's prime ministerial candidate Narendra Modi is accused by his critics of not stopping the 2002 Gujarat riots on his watch, in which 1,000 were killed, mostly Muslims. A Supreme Court probe found no evidence of his alleged role in the riots, an assessment that was upheld by a local court last year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, with the majority of seats yet to go to polls, the war of words between the Congress and the BJP has intensified. Now, the top leadership of both the parties has launched a verbal salvo against each other through televised addresses and public rallies. A closer look.
It is this, the very heart and soul of India, that we are fighting to protect in this election from those who seek to change it and to divide us. Their vision, clouded with hatred and falsehood, their ideology, divisive and autocratic, will drive us to the ruination of our Bharatiyata, our Hindustaniyat.
This is an excerpt from the public appeal made by Congress President, which was aired on television channels on Monday night. Though the speech was just 3 minutes long, Sonia didn't mince her words in criticizing the political opponents of her party. The response from the other camp came when BJP's prime ministerial candidate Narendra Modi used public rallies in Bihar to make his point.
मैडम सोनिया जी आप तक कहती है कि आप और आपकी पार्टी लोकतांत्रिक संस्थाओं का सम्मान करती है, तो देश के गणित नहीं उतरता है। मैडम भाइयों बहनों, ये माँ बेटे की सरकार का तो एक ही मंत्र है, लाल बहादुर शास्त्री का मंत्र था, जय जवान जय किसान। माँ बेटे की सरकार का मंत्र है, मर जवान मर किसान।
While Sonia's comments were termed as farewell speech by the leaders of BJP, her daughter Priyanka staunchly put up a strong defense.
लगा ये विदाई का भाषण है उनके, हताशा से भरा हुआ और मोदी जी की लोकप्रियता से डरी हुई कांग्रेस का ये एक आखिरी प्रयास लगा.
That's because they don't like what she says. And it's very clear what this election is. This is a fight for the heart of India. And they don't like to hear that.
The electoral battle in these parliamentary elections has so far witnessed a variety of comments coming from political parties. But this new war of words between the top leadership of two main political parties is likely to take the fight for votes to a new level. Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
We're tracking more news. Bihar's Chief Minister Nitish Kumar today suffered a jolt as JDU candidate from Kishanganj, Akhtarul Iman, withdrew in favour of Congress nominee in the parliamentary elections. Now, Congress candidate Maulana Asrul Haq is seeking re-election from the minority-dominated Kishanganj Lok Sabha seat. Iman had recently crossed over to the JDU from the RJD and had resigned as the MLA of that party from Kishanganj district. He was among the 13 RJD MLAs to rebel against the party and seek separate status. He was rewarded by Nitish Kumar with a Lok Sabha ticket from Kishanganj seat.
कारण है मेरी जनता किशनगंज का हम किशनगंज के हिंदू मुसलमानों की जो एक जातीय मोहब्बत है इसको कायम रखना जरूरी है उसके लिए पार्टी और अपने जान की कुर्बानी हो दी जा सकती है.
And now Samajwadi Party Chief Mulayam Singh Yadav has targeted the Election Commission by saying the gag order on SP leader Azam Khan was unjust and prejudiced. He slammed the poll panel did not withdraw the order banning Azam Khan from holding election campaigns. He said the right to speech and expression could not be banned in the country. The Election Commission had banned Azam Khan from campaigning in the state of Uttar Pradesh and had asked authorities to initiate criminal proceedings against him. A number of FIRs have already been lodged against the SP leader for making controversial remarks during some of his rallies in the state in the run-up to elections.
हमारे चुनाव प्रचार से वंचित करना चुनाव में दखलंदाजी है हस्तक्षेप है मैं पढ़ के कह रहा हूँ और क्या वजह है कि समाजवादी पार्टी के ये पीछे पड़ जाते हैं. मेरा भी चुनाव रद्द किया धर्मेंद्र का भी रद्द किया आजम खान को भी तुमने लगा दिया.
And a group of Election Commission officials were heckled in West Bengal's Malda district on Monday while they were removing some flags and banners put up on a government property. The incident took place in Kaliachak in Malda district. The block development officer of the area said police complaint had been filed against Trinamool leader Dawood Hussain and some other activists. The video footage of the incident has been sent to the Election Commission for further probe into the incident. Trinamool candidate from Malda South constituency, Muazzam Hussain, has denied the charges. Earlier, Trinamool activists allegedly assaulted poll panel officials at Manik Chowk in Malda district, Habra in North 24 Parganas and Howrah city. And posters in Varanasi mocking the Aam Aadmi Party chief Arvind Kejriwal has kicked up a row in the holy city ahead of the polls. The protesters bear an apparent reference to Kejriwal's decision to resigning as Delhi's chief minister within 49 days of taking office earlier this year. Party supporters slammed the people behind the negative campaign against Kejriwal. They said the sole motive behind such a drive was to defame him ahead of elections in the city. The posters were stuck keeping in view Kejriwal's visit to Varanasi today, where he is contesting against BJP's prime ministerial candidate Narendra Modi.
एतराज क्या ये उनकी बेवकूफ़ी जो ऐसा ऐसा पोस्टर लगा रहे हैं. एक इंसान सच्चाई रास्ते पे चल रहा है उसको आप लोग फिर वो कर रहे हैं कि मतलब बहुत करप्शन है उसको खत्म करना हम लोगों का मोटो है और इसीलिए हम लोग इतना जी जान से लगे हुए हैं.
Time for a short break on India Votes. I'll be back with lots more. Thanks for staying with us. India's volatile neighbourhood, Pakistan to the west and China to the northeast, has raised the need for a strong military doctrine to be able to take on a hypothetical territorial attack. The issue, together with related internal security concerns, form perhaps the biggest military questions of the day. Here's a special report.
December 2001. The terrorist attack on Parliament House marked a turning point of sorts. It underscored the need of a powerful and immediate military doctrine to take on Pakistan's designs. This attack was instrumental in the formation of the Cold Start War Doctrine in 2004. An offensive blitzkrieg to neutralize the enemy inspired by the Soviet concept.
Again, we are talking about quickened pace of mobilization, shallow thrusts into Pakistani territory, cause some attrition, cause some degrading of Pakistani military capability, and also capture small slices of territory, all designed to ensure that Pakistan does not feel the need to use nuclear weapons in response. So that India's option of inflicting some damage on Pakistan for its continued.
There have been calls for a joint chiefs of staff structure to iron out a host of problems that persist. The hurdles to this arise directly or indirectly out of an inter-services rivalry between the three chiefs of staff. This extends to a lack of coordination between the political elite, bureaucrats and the armed forces.
I think I can safely say that we have a military strategy and a military doctrine based on the perceptions of political objectives by various governments over the years. Some have been successful, some have not been successful.
The current combat doctrine of the Indian Army is based on the effective combined utilization of holding formations and strike formations. In the case of an attack, the holding formations would contain the enemy and strike formations would counter-attack to neutralize enemy forces. Vineet Dikshit's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And you can watch that special report titled India's Military Doctrine on Agenda 2014. That's tonight at 10:30. With that, let's move on. 2 days are left for the state of Karnataka to go to polls for the general elections. And this time, it will be a tough fight between the BJP and the Congress, with Yediyurappa's return to his former party. My colleague Vishal Daya caught up with a few senior journalists to find out what voters in Karnataka feel about these elections.
What is it? What are the issues basically this time you believe are the ones which are going to make impact?
The Congress government, which is their performance for the last 1 year. So that is what their claim that that should go in their way. And at the same time, the Modi factor is always there, that everybody has to admit. And JDS is also making very big strides to make their share. We have to see. But I think all the three parties are evenly placed in their own strongholds.
But many say that just like the anti-incumbency factor is rubbing very strongly on the Congress throughout the country, many in the state say, and would you agree with that, that since Siddaramaiah and his party has been in power only for less than a year or so, this anti-incumbency wave might not rub off on Congress? Is that what it is?
Well, Vishal, one thing is very clear, that Karnataka is in a very unique position. One, because you have a new government over here, which is riding on a popularity because of the anti-incumbency against the previous BJP government itself. So that is something which is a big challenge as far as the BJP is concerned, because all the mining scams, the land identification scams are still fresh in people's mind. We have inflation, we have corruption at the center, which is an issue as far as people are concerned. So the voter here has to decide between the lesser of the two evils.
You spoke about two evils, but I must say that there is a third and a fourth evil as well. If we put that in that category, I mean to say that there is a third and a fourth party as well. JDS being the third player, Aam Aadmi Party being the new factor. Let me first ask about JDS. What do you think? What is it about JDS? Will they try and as they are trying, will they go ahead and improve on their tally, or is this the end?
No, but JDS has always had some stronghold in some particular pockets of the state. They are not omnipresent. They are not there everywhere. I think they will pull through somehow in those restricted number of seats wherever they are contesting.
What about Aam Aadmi Party? Is it a phenomena which is contained to only urban areas, or do you see it progressing towards interiors of the state in and around areas like Mysore, where you've been?
Definitely not. In fact, I strongly doubtful whether the existence of Aam Aadmi Party in rural areas. I don't think so, because I never heard of Aam Aadmi Party even in Mysore, as well in Bangalore also.
In the state of Karnataka, there is a huge vote bank. We keep on hearing about Vokalingas and Lingayats, and how are the equations placed this time around?
Well, see, caste is a crucial factor as far as Karnataka is concerned, and that's something which we're seeing predominantly becoming the deciding factor as far as selection of candidates is concerned, or as far as the voters is concerned. But beyond the caste, this time what's happening is, what we're seeing in the BJP is the Congress factor, in the sense that the infighting is something which will decide the results, and that's what is coming out as a very open thing.
That's the Modi factor, the clash of personalities, the projection of personalities in these elections. Do you believe that the kind of aggressive campaign which BJP has gone ahead with the projection of Narendra Modi as their prime minister candidate, with his hoardings being splashed all around wherever the election goes, is that way of making itself felt out here in the state?
Not very much, I don't think. In Karnataka, Modi factor is not that big, because even in earlier assembly elections, he had come himself to campaign where there was a very strong hold of BJP party, but he failed. See, BJP wave, you cannot talk of a wave in Karnataka as such.
Do you believe that this election being fought on the projection of personalities is something which has made things difficult for the local Congress leaders out here?
Well, see, as far as projection of people is concerned, Siddaramaiah certainly has emerged as the tallest leader as far as Congress is concerned in Karnataka, and he is doing a fair job given by the performance. He brought the 1 rupee rice scheme, he brought the milk scheme, all these things which have actually impacted the rural economy. But pitching it against Modi is still considered as an outsider by the rural folks, and that's something that certainly will not be accepted. If the BJP, yes, did try to use Yediyurappa, but his rejoining and the comfort level that which he enjoyed earlier is certainly not there. So these personality clashes, certainly we see that it is there, but at the state level, no Modi word.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Votes. I'll be back tomorrow with more election news. Until then, goodbye.